Welcome back to my channel. This will be the first part of what if Goku was born in Super Saiyan 4. If you end up enjoying the video, consider liking and subscribing. This will encourage me to continue stories like these. Now onto the story. When we think about Goku's journey, one thing becomes clear. It's his constant growth, struggle, and transformation that defines him. But what if that foundation was completely rewritten? What if Goku wasn't born a powerless Saiyan child destined to discover Super Saiyan much later in life, but instead born already in the primal godlike state of Super Saiyan 4? We begin on planet Vegeta. Unlike other Saiyan newborns who are ranked by their power level at birth, this child is unlike anything the Saiyans have ever seen. His fur, crimson eyes, and overwhelming primal energy is undeniable. The scouters of the doctors and guards immediately shatter, unable to read the vast energy radiating from the infant. Goku, known at this point by his Saiyan name Kakarot, is born already harnessing the raw might of the golden grey ape, refined into a humanoid warrior form. From the moment of his birth, his power dwarfs even that of the strongest elites. The raw force flowing through him rattles the palace walls and leaves even the seasoned warriors trembling. For King Vegeta, this was no cause for celebration. This was a threat. The very existence of this child shatters the natural hierarchy of the warrior race. No longer is Prince Vegeta the prodigy destined to rule, because here was an infant who already surpassed him in strength, dominance, and aura. And then, just as suddenly as it began, something strange occurs. The blazing crimson aura fades, the fur vanishes, and the newborn reverts to a normal infant state. Spirit scouters quickly pick up the reading. Just 2, a laughable number. One that would normally condemn a child to the lowest of missions, if not outright disposal. But the memory of what they had just witnessed lingers. King Vegeta's instincts are torn between caution and fear. His first decision is exile, a power like that, even if buried beneath a weak exterior, is too dangerous to remain. But Bardock, the child's father, steps forward to argue against it. Bardock knows what he saw, and he senses potential in his son that no scouter can measure. To exile him as nothing more than a weakling would be a mistake. The king listens, but fear wins out. In a compromise of cruelty, he decides not only to exile Kakarot, but to banish Bardock and Gine as well. It is a calculated move. Remove the anomaly, erase the threat, and restore order to the kingdom. But fate would not bend so easily. The young Kakarot, sensing the hostility radiating from the king, instinctively transforms again. The crimson fur bursts forth, his primal form returning in a flash that shakes the room. King Vegeta recoils in fear. This was no ordinary child. This was a force beyond his control. Bardock seizes the opportunity. Knowing Frieza's growing paranoia about the same race, he acts quickly. He grabs 2 space pods, one for Kakarot and one for himself and Gine. He programs their destinations not for conquest, but for survival. Their target was Earth, a planet far from Frieza's eye, teeming with life but lacking warriors of any knowable power. A safe haven, a place where his son could grow beyond the reach of both King Vegeta and the tyrant who loomed over them all. The pods launches the void of space, their trails of fire disappearing into the stars. King Vegeta does not pursue them. In his mind, the threat was gone. Whether the child thrived or perished on some distant world did not matter, so long as he was no longer on planet Vegeta. For the first time, Kakarot's story begins not only as an orphan raised by humans, but as a child raised by his true parents. Yet, he is no ordinary child. He carries within him the primal power of the Saiyan race, the embodiment of their true might, their fury, and their potential. The twin pods crash down onto the quiet mountains of Earth, their impact echoing through the valley. Smoke rises from the craters as the Earth trembles beneath the weight of alien technology. An elderly martial artist, known simply as Gohan, approaches with caution. Though his body is aged, his instincts are sharp and he can sense the unnatural aura seeping from within. When the pods open, he is greeted not by helpless infants, but 2 battle-worn warriors. Bardock and Gine step forward, the presence radiating an aura so intense that Gohan instinctively stiffens. Bardock's energy in particular is overwhelming, suffocating, the kind of power that no earthly human could ever hope to achieve. And then, from the second pod, the child is revealed. His small frame is cloaked in crimson fur, his red eyes glowing with primal ferocity. He's in his transformed state again, the raw, untamed energy rolling off him unlike anything Gohan has ever felt. It forces the old master to his knees, his body trembling as though pinned beneath the visible weight. To think that such an overwhelming force could exist inside a newborn, it defies reason. Gina notices his fear immediately. Calm yet weary from her own journey, she steps forward and gently explains their situation. They are Saiyans, warriors from a faraway planet, exiled from their home and stranded by circumstance. Though her words are foreign, her tone carries sincerity, and Gohan feels his heart soften. Despite his fear, he sees no malice in them, only survival and a hope for a future for the child. True to his nature, Gohan offers them food, shelter, and a chance at peace. Years pass, and life in the mountains takes on a new rhythm. Kakarot grows not as an orphan raised in isolation, but a boy nurtured by his parents as well as a human mentor figure. From Bardock, he learns ferocity and instincts of a warrior, sharpened by constant sparring and training. From Gine, he gains compassion and restraint, a rare balance for one of Saiyan blood. And from Grandpa Gohan, he absorbs Earth's martial arts and wisdom, grounding his immense power and discipline and patience. Together, they mold him into something unique. Yet, even as a child, Kakarot's true strength cannot be hidden. His power is so immense that even his parents sometimes struggle to comprehend it. To control himself, Kakarot learns restraint at an early age, deliberately holding back so that the world around him is not reduced to rubble. While other children struggle to grow stronger, Kakarot's challenge is the opposite, learning not to let his strength consume everything he touches. Life in the mountains is peaceful, but peace rarely lasts. Destiny stirs once again when a young girl arrives, her name unknown to the Saiyan family at first, but her mission is clear. She seeks out a mystical object known as the Dragon Ball, an artifact said to grant any wish when gathered with 6 others. Her name is Bulma, a brilliant and ambitious girl from the cities. Driven by curiosity and desire, to her, it is a quest for adventure. Bardock does not miss this encounter. He sees potential in this girl's journey, an opportunity not just for his son to test his strength, but to explore the greater world beyond the mountains. Earth is vast, filled with challenges, allies, and potential dangers that Kakarot has yet to face. For too long, his battles have been confined to family sparring matches and the wilderness around them. Bardock knows that true growth comes from stepping into the unknown. And so, with Jine's blessing and Gohan's quiet support, the decision is made. Kakarot will accompany Bulma on her quest, stepping beyond the safety of the mountain home and into the wider world. It is not just a journey for Dragon Balls, but a journey into destiny itself, a destiny shaped by not weakness and struggle, but by overwhelming strength, searching for meaning. We pick up where we left off. Kakarot, raised by not just Grandpa Gohan but also his true parents, Bardock and Gine, has now stepped out of the safety of the mountain home. With Bulma by his side, his new journey begins, to track down the 7 Dragon Balls. From the start, things couldn't be any more different from the original tale. Normally, Goku's childlike innocence and limited strength would mean that he faces danger head-on, sometimes barely scraping by. But in this story, Kakarot's primal power overshadows everything around him. Every bandit, thief, and wild animal that dares cross their path is swept aside in an instant. Petty criminals stand no chance, and villains who might have been a threat in another timeline are nothing more than nuisances here. As the journey unfolds, small but meaningful changes begin to appear. Bulma's original plan was to use the Dragon Balls to wish for the perfect boyfriend, but here, that plan shifts. Traveling alongside Kakarot exposes her to a world larger than she had ever imagined, and the wish for romance becomes less important. By the time she finally gathers the 7 Dragon Balls, her desire changes to something much simpler, a never-ending supply of strawberries. To her, it's practical. It was a simple wish. And besides, she ends up finding Yamcha along the way. The arrival of the World Martial Arts Tournament draws attention from fighters across the globe. For Kakarot, this tournament is less about winning and more about testing himself. His raw power has always been unmatched, but here he can measure his skills against others trained in unique fighting styles. The crowd roars as the tournament begins. One by one, contestants fall before Kakarot's overwhelming might. Familiar faces make their appearances, fighters like Yamcha, Krillin, and even Master Roshi, who disguises himself as Jackie-chan in hopes of teaching Kakarot humility. But here, Roshi never stood a chance. But the real highlight comes in the finals. Instead of another student or rival, Kakarot's last opponent is no one other than his own father, Bardock. While the match was meant to showcase of skill. While the match was meant to be a showcase of skill, it quickly turned to a spectacle. Bardock, seasoned by the years of battle, hardened by his Saiyan heritage, fights with everything he has. Despite his ferocity, he cannot overcome his own son. The clash is fierce, but the outcome is inevitable. Kakarot secures victory. The audience may not fully understand what they witnessed, but for Bardock, it was a moment of pride. His son had become everything he could have hoped for and more. Soon after, the Red Ribbon Army rises to power, their ambition set on collecting the Dragon Balls for themselves. The Red Ribbon Army's fate is sealed from the start. Kakarot completely annihilates them. Bases crumble, soldiers scatter, and every so-called weapon they unleashed is obliterated in seconds. There was simply nothing left. Years pass once again, leading to another World Martial Arts tournament. This time the Crane School has entered the competition. Their fighters, led by Master Shen, carries themselves with arrogance and deadly precision. Tien Shinhan, the Crane School's prodigy, quickly earns the reputation as brutal and efficient warrior. But when matched against Kakarot, even Tien's lethal skills and disciplined style crumble. The match is over almost before it begins. Kakarot wins decisively, though he does so with a level of restraint, not wishing to permanently harm his opponent. Tien, shaken by defeat, begins to question his own path. After the tournament, life takes a darker turn. Krillin, Kakarot's close friend and sparring partner, sets out on a simple errand to retrieve the 4-star Dragon Ball. Kakarot arrives to check on him much earlier this time. He finds Krillin cornered by a monstrous figure, a twisted, bird-like creature that stands over him, its claws ready to strike. This is Tambourine, a servant of King Piccolo, the ancient demon who once terrorized the world. He didn't hesitate. His body moved faster than thought. His energy erupted in a flash. A single ki blast tears through Tambourine, reducing the creature to ash before it can lay his claws on his friend. Krillin is shaken but alive, spared from the fate he once suffered. King Piccolo, expecting his servant to return victorious, instead senses his immediate destruction. The Demon King realizes that a warrior unlike any other now walks the earth, and that his usual tactics may no longer be enough. After decimating each of Piccolo's monstrous offspring, Kakarot stood tall. The battle was hardly a battle at all. King Piccolo had unleashed all his fury, but his power compared to a young Saiyan was laughable. Each strike, each blast of energy was swatted aside like nothing. Just as Kakarot raised his hand to deliver the final blow, another presence made itself known. Kami descended from the heavens, the counterpart of Piccolo himself. His arrival brought down air tension in the battlefield. Kami was there not to fight but to intervene. He explained to Kakarot that Piccolo's existence was directly tied to the Dragon Balls. Their lives were linked to one another. Should Piccolo die, the orbs would vanish forever, taking away humanity's greatest tools for miracles. For the first time, Kakarot hesitated. Not because of mercy. He had no doubt that Piccolo deserved destruction, but because Kami presented the consequence that affected the whole world. Kakarot lowered his hand, and in that pause, Piccolo's laughter filled the air. The Demon King revealed his final gambit. He would use the Dragon Balls himself to restore his youth, reclaiming the strength of his prime and ruling over the earth with eternal vitality. It was the desperate boast of a cornered being, but Kakarot shocked everyone by allowing it. He didn't interfere. He simply crossed his arms and smirked, declaring through the silence that Piccolo could regain all the strength he wanted. It wouldn't matter. The wish was granted, the sky darkened, Shannon appeared with a roar. King Piccolo's youth was restored. His wrinkled skin tightened, his muscles returned, and the overwhelming vitality of his younger self coursed through him. Yet, even with all his newfound power, when his gaze locked onto Kakarot, he felt it, fear, a primal, instinctive dread. The gap between them was far too great. At that moment, Bardock arrived on the scene, watching the outcome with his trademark stern expression. He had witnessed it all. He had felt the surge of Piccolo's energy from afar, but quickly realized it was meaningless compared to his son's aura. He took in the sight. Bardock didn't even acknowledge Piccolo as a true threat. Instead, he turned his attention to Kami, questioning why a Namekian, pretending to be a demon, was interfering with Earth's fate. Piccolo's eyes widened at the word Namekian. For so long, he had believed his own myth of being the Demon King. Bardock corrected him coldly, explaining that he could see through his facade. Piccolo wasn't a demon at all, but an alien from another world. The revelation shook Piccolo to the core. Despite regaining his youth, his ambitions to dominate Earth collapsed before his eyes. Kakarot stood unflinching. For all his boasting, Piccolo was nothing more than another challenger swept aside by the overwhelming might of the Saiyans. Another World Martial Arts tournament approaches, and Earth's strongest fighters gather once again. This time, however, the shadow of rivalry has taken on a sharper edge. Piccolo, no longer the decrepit old Demon King, but now restored his youth thanks to his Dragon Balls, has spent years training. His one goal was to kill Kakarot. He believed that with his renewed body and relentless preparation, victory is finally within his grasp. But when the moment comes, history repeats itself. Kakarot steps into the arena, not with arrogance, but with a calm assurance. Despite all of Piccolo's improvements, despite his cunning and mastery of Ki, he still cannot overcome the overwhelming force of someone born with the primal might and the potential of a Super Saiyan. The battle is fierce, but in the end, Piccolo is defeated once again, his ambition slipping through his fingers. With the tournament concluded, Kakarot's life begins to take a new turn. Just as the original timeline, he honors his promise to Chi-Chi and takes her as his wife. Years pass and we arrive at a moment of reunion. The warriors of Earth gather once more, this time not just for battle but for camaraderie. Grandpa Gohan was present alongside Bardock and Gine. The peace was interrupted by the arrival of an unexpected visitor. A figure descends from the skies, his power faint compared to Kakarot or Bardock, yet his presence was unmistakable. Bardock's eyes widen and Gine gasps, tears forming as recognition floods her. It is their eldest son, Raditz. For years they believed he was with Vegeta and Nappa, but here he was, standing before them. Raditz is bewildered. To him, Earth was nothing more than an insignificant backwater planet, unworthy of attention. But now he finds not only his long-lost parents alive, but also his younger brother, the child who had been exiled from at birth. Seeing him now, grown and possibly strong, Raditz can no longer dismiss the rumor. Bardock wastes no time. He commands his son to remove the scouter. Raditz hesitates. He knows that through his scouter, Prince Vegeta and Nappa were already listening, but Bardock's voice carries the authority of both the father and the veteran warrior. Reluctantly, Raditz moves the device. Bardock insists further. Destroy it. Raditz obeys. With a flick of his wrist, the scouter is crushed. But the damage is already done. Before its destruction, Vegeta and Nappa heard everything. That Bardock and Gine lived, that their mysterious younger son still existed, and that he was not only alive but extraordinary. For Vegeta, this is not merely intriguing, it was a challenge. His pride as the Saiyan Prince cannot allow another Saiyan, especially a so-called low-class warrior, to surpass him. He and Nappa immediately set their sights on Earth. Unbeknownst to the Saiyans, their transmissions had not only been heard by Vegeta, but also intercepted by another force. In the depths of space within his colossal ship, Frieza listens. The tyrant who destroyed planet Vegeta, who once commanded the Saiyan race, now learns that remnants of their people still survive. More importantly, he learns about Kakarot. To Frieza, this is unacceptable. He cannot risk the survival of a warrior capable of threatening his empire. His mind is set. Earth will become his next target. Back on Earth, the revelation shakes Raditz. For so long, he had lived in service to Vegeta and Nappa, believing the Saiyan race to be nearly extinct and his own family lost, only arriving on Earth after remembering what Gine told him. Now faced with his parents and younger brother, he finds himself torn between his life he had known and the one he could reclaim. Bardock does not let him falter. He tells Raditz plainly, the Saiyan's time of servitude is over. They no longer bow to tyrants. With Kakarot standing as the embodiment of their people's potential, there is no need to fear Vegeta, Nappa, or even Frieza himself. The looming confrontation is inevitable. In the vastness of space, Vegeta and Nappa ready to pause, determined to prove their dominance. And behind them, hidden in the shadows of ambition, Frieza plots his own course. His desire to crush the last of the Saiyans and maintain his supremacy drives him towards Earth.